Hey everyone, it's Mike again. I'm back with another installment. Today's I think is going to be a little bit different. Instead of answering somebody's contest or thread or whatever, I'm not going to do a vinyl finds today. But I just thought I'd talk about the music that I've been listening to lately and point out some everything. I have so many like record collector apps or whatever, or not apps, but like I joined so many pages on Facebook, record collectors and record labels and record genres, and I keep getting pop-ups of all these different people that have had birthdays and anniversaries of albums. So I thought I'd kind of go through those and talk about just bringing up these performers and these albums that have been around for you just don't even realize how long they've been around, and it's just kind of eye-opening. So I thought I'd talk about some of that stuff as well. I did a video a few weeks ago, Valentine's video, and my girlfriend Courtney and I talked about the music that kind of bonds us, the music that we like listening to together. And this weekend was we spent together, and because she lives up north of here and I'm here, and we're in the process of finding a house for us together to join our families. And in the meantime, we spend weekends together and usually a weeknight together as well. And this past weekend, we listened to music. We love getting together and hanging out and listening to vinyl because the music just sounds so much better. She listens to a lot of music. Spotify streaming on her phone, and it leaves a lot to be desired as far as the audio quality. And I agree. I mean, I don't really listen to music on my phone, but I put it through my Bluetooth in my car, which is a lot better than just on the phone, but it's still nothing like the vinyl experience. So when we get together on the weekends, we always put a bunch of records on and listen. And so this past weekend, we usually listen to a lot of the same albums because we're just in love with these certain albums. But this time we kind of mixed it up and did some different listening. I brought this up during that Valentine's video. We both love the Flaming Lips. We both loved them before we came together as a couple. Flaming Lips are right now, they're in our area. They were just in Vegas, I think, last night. And they're coming through and doing a tour, playing the entire album of Yoshimi, the Yoshimi album here that I'm holding, and Battles of the Pink Robots. And I love this album. It's my favorite album of theirs, and it's her favorite album of theirs as well. And I'd love to go see them perform this in full from start to finish. That would be awesome. They're not playing in Phoenix for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on this year, but this year is the year of bands skipping Arizona altogether on their tours. And Flaming Lips is one of those bands. They're going to go play in Los Angeles, and we were thinking about getting tickets, but it's such a haul to get to drive out there and to see a band. We did that for Beach House last year, and we'd probably do it again for this year if Dead Can Dance comes through. Like, they've canceled a couple of their tours coming through California, and if they come back around this year, I would definitely expend that effort. I did see Flaming Lips on this tour when this album came out. They did play in Tempe, Arizona. They opened for Beck. Beck was doing his Sea Changes tour, and Flaming Lips opened for Beck, and they also provided their musicianship as Beck's band for that concert when he played his songs, and it was awesome. It was at the Gamage Auditorium on the Arizona State campus, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It was just an amazing experience, and I wish I could go back in time and take Courtney with me to go see that show because it was just so freaking awesome. I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to see Flaming Lips sometime. Hopefully maybe they'll somehow come back through Phoenix. Sometimes it's just asking too much for us to we have young kids, both of us, and it's just hard to make that kind of trip happen. So anyway, we listened to this whole album, and it's just an incredible album. I love this album. So that was the first thing we listened to on Friday. And then afterwards, we listened to, this is a collection of Cocteau Twins. I think it was curated by Robin Guthrie, the guitarist. It's an interesting, different kind of collection. The songs he picked are kind of strange. as a Cocteau's fan. It's not a lot of the songs are pretty spot on, but some of them are kind of out there, which is kind of cool because it's kind of unexpected from the usual best of that you would think of for the Cocteau Twins. It's just their capital year stuff. They don't go into like the Four Calendar Cafe and Milk and Kisses. They stop at Heaven or Las Vegas, but it was just really nice. Courtney had never listened to this compilation before, so every song was a surprise to her. So that was really awesome. We always like listening to the Cocteau Twins. It's one of our favorite bands together. So anyway, we listened to that. It's called Stars and Topsoil on 4AD Records. And I guess maybe, yeah, it's just 4AD. Anyway, and then we were driving around on Saturday and we popped this in. I had made a playlist for her and I put on the song Moonchild. She really liked that song. She kind of wanted to hear more on the album. This is Chibomato with Stereotype A, my favorite album of theirs. And we listened to the whole thing and it was just really fun. It was a nice, really cool album to listen to while you're kind of driving around town and really get a chance to really focus and listen to the music. Really fun, kind of Luscious Jackson-ish kind of music, really quirky and just kind of out there and kind of in a, I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. I love this album. Moonchild is a great song. King of Silence is one of my favorites as well. Sci-Fi Wasabi, there's just a lot of great songs on here. So we listened to that Saturday. And then last night, when we were just kind of hanging out relaxing, we listened to she wanted to listen to some Dead Can Dance. So I put in With an Aroma of the Dying Sun. This is their third album. Listened to it all the way through. Side A is mostly Brendan Perry singing, and then the side 2 is Lisa Gerrard singing. Love this album. I've kind of been a fan of this album. This is my favorite of theirs, and I've been a fan of this since back in my college days, back in the late 80s, early 90s. But anyway, we listened to this, and then she wanted to listen to some more, so I played the album that came out right after that, The Serpent's Egg. We listened to that front and back. An amazing album as well. And then we finished off the night listening to some shoegaze. We listened to Slowdive's fourth album, the latest one that they've released, and I love this album. It's my favorite of Slowdive's as well. So anyway, that's what we listened to together this weekend. That was really nice. Let's get on with some birthdays. A lot of birthdays happening in February, early March. The first one, I'm going to go in order of age. So the youngest person I'll start with, Mr. Jazz Coleman, celebrated his 63rd birthday. I believe it was late February. Anyway, love him, the singer for The Killing Joke, one of my favorite bands. Happy birthday, Jazz Coleman. The next one, this gentleman turned 65, David Sylvian, that's him right there, the lead singer for Japan, and he's having a nice little solo career going as well. Happy birthday, David Sylvian. He turned 65. Next one, Cindy Wilson of the B-52s. That's her in the yellow dress right there. She just turned 66 years old. Happy birthday, Cindy Wilson. Love the B-52s, my favorite B-52s album, Whammy. Next one, Del Bozzio from Missing Persons, the lead singer of Missing Persons. She just turned, 68 years old. My very first concert that I like to admit that I went to was Missing Persons. I saw them up in Tampa. Awesome show. It was this tour as well. Missing Persons, this is Rhyme and Reason, their second studio album. Happy birthday, Del Bozzio. And then the last one, Mr. John Doe, the co-lead singer and bass player for the band X out of Los Angeles. This is him right here, this handsome devil up here in this photograph. That's John Doe. Happy birthday, John. He just turned 70 years old. So that's it for the birthdays. Anniversaries. I'm going to start with the youngest albums and then work my way to the oldest. And these are all celebrated anniversaries just in the past week or so. Beck, his first album, studio album, Mellow Gold. This came out in 1994, so it's 29 years old. Beck, Mellow Gold. The next one, XTC, Oranges and Lemons. This one came out in 1989, so it is, 34 years? Yeah, 34 years old. Can't read my writing. Love this album. Came out right after Skylarking, which is my favorite XTC album, but this is right up there in the top, I would say top three XTC albums. Love this one. And these new reissues that Andy Partridge is putting out on, what is it, the 8 something, I can't read it, but anyway, really good sound quality record. Amazing sound quality on these. XTC Oranges and Lemons just turned 34. God, I remember when that album came out. It didn't seem like 34 years ago. The next one, in 1985, Tears for Fears put out Songs from the Big Chairs when they hit it big. I saw them, the first time I saw them in concert was on this tour. They played the USF Sundome down in Tampa, and it was a great show, and really liked Tears for Fears. This one, 1985, so that makes it 38 years old. Happy birthday, Songs from the Big Chair. The next one, this is an EP, a 12-inch EP from the Cocteau Twins, Ikea Guinea. This came out also in 1985, so it's also celebrating a 30-year anniversary. 4AD Records 4-song EP. And I also have the this is a German 7-inch of the same. It's just got 2 songs on it, Ikea Guinea and Kookaburra, and this one has 4 songs on it. Really great. This is right before they really blossomed. 1986 was when they really, when they really started cranking out their best music. But this is really good as well, this EP, 1985, 38 years old, Cocteau Twins. The next one, a little bit older, 1983, U2's War. I remember when this album came out. Would see the videos for Sunday Bloody Sunday and New Year's Day on MTV all the time, back when MTV played music videos. It's a great album, 40 years old, this album, 40 years old. Happy anniversary, U2. And then the last one for anniversaries, 1982, Tones on Tail debuted with this 4-song EP in 1982. 41 years old, Tones on Tail, crazy. Love them. Not the greatest music on this one. I prefer some of their other EPs that they released early on, but still, this is their first, and it came out in 82. So anyway, Tones on Tail. And then just what I'm kind of listening to lately, I just thought I'd talk about that. I've been really just loving this album, Sweet Trip. What is the name of the damn album? It's really weird. A Tiny House in Secret Speeches, Polar Equals. I started listening to Sweet Trip. A while back, a few years ago, I did just a Google search on shoegaze music because I wanted to find some other bands. I'd been listening to the same stuff for so long, and I wanted to find some new shoegaze bands, and a lot of them really suck. Really just so derivative, and they're just trying so hard to sound like My Bloody Valentine. But then I found Sweet Trip on that list, and it wasn't this album. It was the album that came out before this one. It was a few years ago. They don't crank out music every year. There's a few years in between this release and the previous one, and it was just really crazy. It was a lot of electronics and stuff, and then they would shoegaze when they wanted to shoegaze. Really interesting, kind of experimental, electronic pop, shoegaze kind of music. And then I wanted to give this a listen. This is their last album, their 3rd album, and they disbanded since then. I forget when this came out, but like a couple years ago, 2021, this came out. And I wanted to give this a listen, and I listened to it, and then I listened to it, and then I kind of shelved it for a while. And then I don't know, it didn't really stick out to me at first. But then this past few months, I started listening to it again, just wanted to give it another try. And it is freaking awesome. It's like, what, 16 songs? No, I don't know, close. 14 songs on this double album. The one I got off of Discogs, it just said that it was autographed. And I'm like, okay, well, it's got this guy's autograph. But it had this like little note also on it. It says, you rule with your impeccable musical taste or music taste. And I happen to agree. I identify with that. So not a bad thing to have written on the record. Love this band. They sound like a lot of things. Sometimes they use a lot of like electronic noises that remind me a lot of what Stereolab kind of does in their music. They just have these kind of random things kind of coming in and out, and it just sounds really fun and interesting, and you always hear new stuff every time you hear it, and I like that. I love that about Stereolab, and I like that about this album as well. There's some songs that are very kind of dreamy shoegazy, but more like a Slowdive kind of shoegaze than a not a My Bloody Valentine kind of shoegaze. Not really a wall of sound of guitars, but just a wall of sound in general. A lot of electronic soundscape kind of stuff. They remind me a little bit. Sometimes they remind me, and especially when the guy sings, they remind me of the band Washed Out. Or I think it's just a guy that does Washed Out. It's the music. The music. I only know them because they do the opening sound track or whatever, the opening song for Portlandia, if you know what I'm talking about. That's kind of what this sounds like a lot of times too. Not all the time. It's varied. There's a lot of different sounds. There's some kind of, sometimes they sound a little bit reggae. Sometimes they sound very much like 07. It's a bunch of different kind of experiments that they're doing here, and it's really awesome. They both sing, so he sings sometimes, she sings sometimes. Sometimes they both sing at the same, on the same songs, or in harmonies, whatever. But really awesome album. I'm really digging this a lot. Can't recommend it. And I know on Spotify at the end of the year, it's going to tell me that this is like my number 1 or 2 favorite band because I listen to it all the time, kind of obsessively. But I'm sure I'll move on to another band soon enough. But this is really awesome. Definitely check it out. If you don't have to buy it, but definitely give them a listen because they're pretty amazing. And then the other thing that I've been listening to a ton is this band up here, Curve. They just came out with some music on vinyl reissues of the first 3 EPs, and then those are just 2 of their albums. They only have 2 albums, 2 of their studio albums on vinyl, Doppelganger and Cuckoo, and then this is like some EPs from their 3rd album, Come Clean. Come Clean is not available on vinyl, and neither is basically their last 4 albums are not available on vinyl, just CD or digital release only. But anyway, I've been listening to them a ton. They're a lot of fun to listen to. Definitely the kind of music I like. It's shoegaze, it's electronic, it's industrial, it's kind of all combined together, and it's really awesome stuff. Really loud. You got to like loud music to really be into Curve, because they're quiet sometimes, but for the most part they're really freaking loud, and I love that about them. So anyway, that's my little speech today. I just wanted to check in, and loving watching everybody's videos, and I need to give like a shout out to some channels that I really like. At some point I need to do that, because sometimes people have done that for me and I really appreciate it. I'm almost at the midpoint between 500 and 600 subscribers. It's not about the subscribers, but it's just really nice to see that people are subscribing and interested in what I'm trying to show here. Trying to show some different stuff that a lot of people aren't showing, and some people at least seem to appreciate that, so that's pretty awesome. Love you all for watching, and thanks. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.